Right. Everyone who's gathered up here, save your forces to the actual discussion on the stage because we want to hear your points. Perfect. So we are going to have a panel discussion right now, and we're going to talk about building ecosystems and the importance of a community to accelerate innovation. So joining us here on stage is going to be Monika Davidovich, who is the Senior Communications Manager at DAC Digital. Welcome, Monika. Hi. A very well-known MC who stepped in when I was out eating. Sorry for that. Next up, Alena Hloba, who is the head of partnerships at Wolf Summit. You may have heard of that company. I'm not sure if you know them, but they're pretty famous. That's what I know. All right. Next up, we have Domas Urnieziusz from Growtech. If I butchered your name, I'm very sorry for that. You can fix it up later.
Actually, we were practicing the right pronunciation before.
I wasn't there. Yeah. I was eating. Perfect. All right. Next up, we have well-known, already been on the stage, big star, very colorful jacket. All right, Paulina Muszyńska, the head of Startup Wrocław at Araf. Thank you. All right. Last, certainly not least, because I'm just hoping you're not going to consider it a harassment, but your mustache is out of this world. Please pay attention. All right, last but not least, Paweł Zajączkowski, the event manager from InCube. Welcome. Guys, have fun.
Oh, we will. Hi, everybody. Today we are going to discuss why is it so important to have people around you when you're in tech and when you're in business in general, and why you can't do it on your own. And we have some really great experts in the field who have been building communities and ecosystems for a while. And before we start, I would like to explain the selection of people here. Let's start with Paulina. As you've already had a chance to hear today in the morning, Paulina is responsible for the Startup Wrocław project and in general for nurturing the ecosystem here within this amazing city. Alena, on the other hand, as an organizer of Wolf Summit, is actually facilitating a platform for all the tech enthusiasts in Central Eastern Europe and beyond. So it's pretty international and a wider perspective. Paweł is deeply rooted in the academic environment, collaborating with the city as well. However, I hope you will have some nice discussion here because I've heard some rumors. And Domas, you are actually within two ecosystems, the Lithuanian one and also the Israeli. So I hope to hear some really interesting insights from your side. But let's start with the general idea of building a community or being a part of a community when you are running or building your business. Why is it so important? Any volunteers? Okay.
Yeah, so thank you for a warm intro, and fun fact, Alena and Monika, we met in Tel Aviv as well, so thank you guys for inviting me, and I'm more than happy to share a bit more about what they learned over the years. And community, in my own opinion, is everything, because entrepreneurship and startups is hard, really hard. If someone did that, and the support from community is crucial. I want to give you one example. Linux, right? It's open source platform. It was built by developers, who are just part of the community. So you can even build the products, right, from the community, right? Another thing is that when you have a community and you have, entrepreneurs trying to get into the markets, everything. So basically, it's very important to have mentors, to have other people who did that before, to share the experience, to kind of tell where you should go, what you should avoid in the first place, and of course, everybody needs investments, right? If you have a strong community, for example, entrepreneurs who exited, they tend to invest in their country, in the entrepreneurs, because they know people well, So I think these probably will be the main things why I think the community is very important. But it would be interesting to hear from other guys.
I'm volunteering to be the next. I think in one sentence is you cannot do it all alone. You know, we haven't probably got this big without our community and the partners and people coming to our events. So I think, you know, this is a sorry, this is a perfect example. Our event is a perfect example of how community can like bring people together and why it is important. And I really like our events mostly because I see all the partners, all the people I've been talking to for several months about our event, promoting, you know, meeting in other, like Thomas, in other parts of the world, and then coming to our event and seeing everyone there, you know, in the line of coffee or having a chat, and it turns out, you know, that this is really, you know, I don't really, you cannot engage with all the people individually and talk, you know, about your feelings when you work. You keep it professional almost all the time, but when you have a little chat about the weather or anything, it feels nice, you know. And it's also like I'm reading the book right now about power of talking to strangers, and it's actually a really good thing for us as people to talk to strangers, even if it's professional, to get to know people. So this is basically why it's needed, why the community has to be there.
So I have two things to add here. First of all, it's a fun fact that all of us sitting here on the stage, we met at some sort of community events, yeah? We're not strangers. We've already spoken to each other many times, and that's why it was so easy to put this panel together, because I knew each of you has something to say about this topic. And another thing that you mentioned, Alena, about talking to strangers, I think attending events such as this one is a perfect opportunity, and if you still haven't, you can install our one-on-one matchmaking app. So if it's difficult for you to actually approach people, you can do it in a more structured way and just request the meetings, you know, with purpose. So it's just like an interlude from my side. But maybe, Paulina, you would like to add something about the importance of being a part of a community.
I will add something to the community part from like different perspective about not being competitive like, among the group of partners or among the community in the city or in the region that we cooperate, because as we all know, we are good partner with everybody, or soon we will be great partner with everybody that is sitting here. Yeah, this is an invitation to cooperation. But in general, what I think is, when I have a partner that is coming, because we have around 20 partners, of course we are smaller than you. When we organize events, we organize it locally. So we are like, I'm not comparing anything. Yeah, you are bigger, but for us, this is a big success to have 20 international partners. And we are very proud of it. But I don't keep the partners for myself. Without the community, without the startups, I wouldn't have like my job, right? So I need to keep everything alive, and I need to, you know, exchange all the contacts so everybody can use them actually. So if you girls come to me and you need anything, I'm giving you it immediately, and the other way around. Yes.
Yeah,
so
I can assert that's true. Whenever I ask Paulina, oh, can you recommend a startup from this and that industry? She comes up with like at least 5 contacts.
Yeah, and my team also, not just me, sorry.
Okay, like the Startup Wrocław team.
Yes. So this is in my opinion, very important, not to be competitive and just doing as much as possible together.
Yeah, because obviously we need to reach some goals, yeah, and like we're doing it to reach our business goals. But definitely the collaboration is much more productive than competition.
Actually, one point to kind of build up, I completely agree that, you know, collaboration is important, but I think healthy competition, I think is very important as well. Healthy. So just for you to have what happened in Baltics, for example, right? Estonian was you know, they got the Skype, they got a big exit, you know, and they were looking, you know, Estonians like, oh, these guys are doing well, you know, it's like we need to catch up with them. So, and it's not, it's like you don't need to cross the line. but had healthy competition, like did some good stuff, for example, for Lithuanian community, you know. So it depends. It depends, but yeah, it's good to kind of have some kind of.
But we don't have competition now in Poland. Wrocław doesn't have any competition.
Yeah, it's an unquestionable leader.
Yeah, I would like to add something because we said about the competition, we said about collaboration, and as Monika said, I represent University of Business and Economics, so I will start in an academic way because I think we have to start like collaboration between who. Like who is building the ecosystem, the startup ecosystem? Because maybe
Paulina raised her hand. She's building.
Maybe it's not so clear because I think the most important players are like, of course, the entrepreneurs, the startups founders, the investors, the academic society, so universities, and then we have the corporations, we have the government, the local government, the city, the local authorities. And of course we have some service providers, etc., and of course incubators and accelerators. So I represent both like university and incubator, and I think that only collaboration between all those players is good for the whole ecosystem because everyone has an impact on each other.
Yeah, we're all like building blocks of the ecosystem. Yes, I think smoothly we're like getting to the topic of the ecosystem building. And anybody would like to start with some thoughts? Because, now it's very trendy to say like, oh, this new ecosystem is the next Silicon Valley, or this is the rising star of like XYZ, etc.
I have a certificate.
Oh.
I have it on paper, yes, that we are the rising star. This
Okay, but who issued the certificate?
Deal room from the Netherlands.
Ah, okay, yeah.
But no, the Silicon Valley is always used everywhere.
And I think
The
it's
next
worn and torn already.
That's
So maybe
true.
let's question that, whether we should try to build the next Silicon Valley.
Yeah, so I think Silicon Valley is overused. First of all, I think because every ecosystem has its own unique capabilities and unique resources that you need to take advantage of. Perfect example is Israel and Tel Aviv. They have a very strong military industry. What does it mean? They have a super strong cybersecurity sector, because a lot of technologies comes from military, right? So you need to use that. You cannot like say, like, we duplicate the Silicon Valley and we don't care about what we have in the first place, right? It's not smart. Another thing is, for example, Berlin. It has a lot of creativity. People from all around the world. They have amazing design capabilities, a lot of creative ideas. They're very strong at fintech and e-commerce, So every startup ecosystem has its own, I think, strong sides, and you need to utilize them, as smart as possible, and find your own path. I think that's the main point.
Yes. You cannot be good at everything, so you choose your path that you want to follow. But about the Silicon Valley, this is of course very nice when they call Wrocław the Silicon Valley of Poland, and it's actually the term that came up in 2020, I guess, in the report of Startup Poland Foundation. They wrote that if there is a Silicon Valley in Poland, it's in Wrocław. This is what they said, right? But where is my friend Zbigniew? He is coming from Silicon Valley, actually. He's sitting somewhere there. And right before the panel discussion, I asked him, what should I say? And he said, no, don't say we should be Silicon Valley. Like, copying is not good. And there is only one Eiffel Tower, he said, and nobody shouldn't copy the Eiffel Tower. So
Some tried.
Yeah, we know, but do we like it? Is it good?
Haven't seen it.
So yeah, this is what I also think, that we should find something that we are good at and not focusing on competing with the greatest one. We are not, there is a big difference between these two places. And also last year, like exactly 1 year ago, Alena was hosting the business breakfast at InCube, and the topic was the Wrocław as Silicon Valley.
And
It
that was
was-
actually the inspiration for this discussion.
Yes, yes, and it was there was a question also asked: can we name, the next Silicon Valley, and is this relevant to name anything Silicon Valley? But I think, copying, yes, you mentioned copying is not good because you need to think about the resources you have here. We don't have the resources of Silicon Valley, so we need to be inspired, of course, and yes, adjust and build something of our own. It's every Silicon Valley. The next Silicon Valley is in every city in the world right now. Every city, I think, calls this the next Silicon Valley. But I think, our ecosystem is Wrocław.
Maybe Wrocław Valley. It's like, think about
Wrocław
it.
Valley.
Yeah, but I think maybe we use this phrase to just describe our important role in the region. Like we
Yeah.
try to explain like our startup, and we said it's Uber for pets, and everyone knows that what's the idea. So maybe we say like Wrocław is the next Silicon Valley because we want to say Wrocław is one of the main cities in the Poland that support the startups. But I think to compete with the big players like the capitals, for example, I don't know, Berlin, Warsaw, Prague. Yesterday, I had this interesting talk with Pavel from Czech Republic, and I know he's collaborating with you because he mentioned that.
Paweł Tank from Ostrava, I guess.
Yeah, he's from Ostrava, and he's making event for startups from from Poland, from Slovakia, from Czech Republic, and especially he's cooperating with the smaller cities like Ostrava, Katowice, Wrocław, Krakow, to make a competition, like to compete with big players. And I think it's also very important. We should start from the cities, but then if we want to expand, we have to cooperate together. Yeah, I mean, because I think it's easier if you have a quite small country like Israel or Lithuania or Estonia. They can work together maybe in more easy way. I know, just think.
Yeah, this is a big word calling us Silicon Valley, but it's working actually when we call it. It's like I'm always saying with the big smile that we are the startup capital of Poland. Yeah, everybody around is laughing, but it is working. The PR is
words
great.
create our reality.
Yeah, but the PR is really great. Like every week we have somebody reaching us from abroad that found us somewhere in a report or somewhere tagged on LinkedIn and want to meet. Like 2 weeks ago, we had a visitor from Czech Republic that just saw us somewhere, came, and he's a business angel, and he wants to. He spent with me 4 hours, and he loves the city. He came on Monday again for Pitch Me Baby. So it's working. So you may think that I am making fun of it or I'm exaggerating a bit, maybe, but it's working. So if it's gonna work, we're gonna use it.
Yeah, I completely agree, and it works for PR, right? If you need if you need a visibility, it works well. But I think Pavel made an amazing point that it shows that ecosystem is just prominent. It just have speed, right? It's growing fast. That's exactly what does it mean, right? And if you need for PR, of course, use it.
Okay, so the thing that you mentioned, Pavel, about that maybe the collaboration between the different cities in a smaller country is easier. Maybe you could add something.
Absolutely, yeah. So basically, when you have a smaller country, a smaller community, it's always easier to get around and to know all the people involved. For example, in Vilnius, right? It's not big city, right? It's like 600,000 people. Right, and all the tech people are usually hanging out in the one district, and you can see a lot of them usually in coffees or in co-working spaces, and it's good because you can catch up with them constantly on a regular basis, have lunches constantly, to speak, and then yeah, it's way easier to get around, and maybe more important than that, just not to close yourself in the smaller community and to start going outside. And to build those bridges with the even bigger communities, because then you have much more ideas. You can do some collaborations, finding partners. So I think it's good to have a close community in a smaller country. It has its own benefits, but don't get me wrong. You need to go outside. You need to build bridges. You need to go to other startup ecosystems bigger than yours or more matured. To kind of learn those lessons and to have, establish valuable partnerships, because it will accelerate your own startup ecosystem. So these are my thoughts.
Oh, that's 100% true. You need to go outside and not get caught up in your own bubble, even if it's, I think even if it's a bigger ecosystem, you need to go outside to the city of the same country, or better to other countries, or better to other continents. I think like not a lot of people know about Wrocław in the US, but in Europe it's an ecosystem. I think a lot of people know. Like you can see at our event, we have a lot of people from all the different countries. So that's 100% true.
Yeah, but we have to be open, like, because we're talking about the a big picture, like about the country. But like from my point of view, in our incubator, we cannot close. Like we do not cooperate only with our professors and our like staff at university. I think is a small percentage actually. We had to open to Wrocław, to Poland, to make our brand bigger, and so we cooperate with the city, we cooperate with Wolf Summit, so we try to connect, because we're working at the very beginning. We're working with the students, we're working with, we call them sometimes like PowerPoint companies, but this is like, we don't laugh about that because we love them. We love the ideas, we love work with those people, and we love to support them. And we really appreciate that people who already make a success, they find the time to spend their free time on that. No, they don't have so much free time, but they want to help for free to our young startups. It's amazing because I've never experienced such a will of help in any ecosystem than in startup ecosystem. And I'm from like even industry before I came to incubator, and it's just amazed me every day.
And I have this impression that, with your work, you are actually building the foundation of the ecosystem. So all of us who get involved in your initiatives, first of all, we want to give back because we already received something and achieved something. And the other thing is that it is in our common interest to have new entrepreneurs entering the market for healthy competition, for like expanding the community. Do you agree?
Absolutely, yeah, and you need to kind of the supportness. I think it's as I said, it's hard. To build a startup is just hard, and I have a huge respect for solo founders. I cannot get it how they do that. If you do that, kudos to you. But at least the co-founders, to have a co-founder is important, and again, like to have a community when you can ask more mature guys like how you did that, how you did another thing. And usually, for example, with Lithuania, we got some big investments coming in from older players in the ecosystem. They raised the money. They came to one guy, I have a great product, maybe you can introduce me to the investors, and boom, you have investment, right? So things like that, so I think it's crucial.
And that's what's happening at DAC, where I work right now. We reached some level of stability, and now we can invest some of that money in the startups. So once you get there to the let's say the stable period of your company's development, then you can try and give back either the financing or advice or mentoring. So yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
And just for example, what's happening with Lithuania right now. So we have a quite new, I would say like 2 years. It's called Unicorns Lithuania. It's like association of most like prominent startups in the country. And for example, they have even off-record sessions when entrepreneurs come to the session, no phones, no video, no recording, and they speak about interesting stuff. What happened in the business, about sensitive topics, and the feedback is amazing actually. The kind of the people who are in that association has a lot of value from that. Then they have, for example, GrowTech is a part of that association as well. So for example, there's Beer Wednesdays. Who wants join? There's a one bar, and people just drinking beer, having a good time. Things like that. So.
The secret gatherings. We don't have anything like this here.
Or maybe we do, but you haven't been invited yet. Okay.
Oh, why?
Okay, we can talk about it off stage. And one more question that comes to my mind when I'm listening to all of you is that what kind of facilities are needed to actually create? Because you mentioned co-working spaces, etc. So how do you think, maybe Alena and Paulina, because I haven't heard from you for a while, what do you think is needed to actually start building the ecosystem?
Can I start? I think facilities are good. The co-working spaces, the offices, the beer Wednesdays and Thursday
events.
gatherings and everything, they are good. But first and foremost, people need to want to do this, and that's why I think that we have this discussion to tell that it's beneficial and we need to do this. I think, you know, I work in a co-working space and our office is in the co-working space, but actually I'm not often talking to people that work there, even though I see them every day. But I thought about this, and I think I need to start doing this myself, doing the initiative and talking to people. Like, I already see them; they are there, and they are in the ecosystem, and they are startups. Yeah, of course, they are our potential clients, but that's beside the point. You know, the human interaction and just building the community, because there were a lot of situations we mentioned in the beginning, how this panel come up. Oh, I know this person, and I know that person, and I know that person. Oh, we have a great panel, and we have something to discuss. And that was the case of something else. You know, sometimes people ask me, or I think, you know, Paulina, people ask you as well. Oh, do you know this, and do you know this person in this industry, in this stage? And you know, when we need to find someone quickly. If you talk to people, if you talk to more people, you're like, oh, I remember talking to that guy or that girl a week ago, and they actually have a great thing, and you know, this is my answer to this.
I just have a comment about facilities. Facilities, nice co-working spaces with the coffee machines. This is really cool, but you need to afford them in the first place. Startups, you know, kind of when they start doing their products, and you know, all those stories even from the Silicon Valley in garage, non-co-working space, not in officing. So I think it all boils down basically to how bad you want to do that, and facilities are not. I think the crucial part is I think it's just nice to have. If you have that,
of
that's
course.
cool. But just one point, facility is really important. For example, if you do hardware startups, you need infrastructure, you need facilities. Without that, you can't do that, right? Munich, for example, is one of them, right? They have a strong automotive industry. So you need manufacturing plants, factories, all of that to kind of produce that product, right? In these cases, these are crucial. No.
Yeah. I think so, because of course I think that's beside the point. We were more talking about you know, SaaS or startups that are building something online, or we who work online and then we're working for 3 days in person and then all the time online. So yeah, it's nice to have a coffee machine at the office and nice people around and the dogs. But yeah,
the dogs.
Yes, it's not necessary. But it's nice to have, and actually this is the building, this is how the community builds, and this is the facility we can use as well.
Okay, so now I have one idea that came to my mind. When you mentioned that you go to that co-working space, you see those people, but you never talk to them, maybe this should be an incentive to actually organize something. Because if we don't do it, who's going to do it for us? Maybe
I've been thinking about it.
Yeah, to talk to the co-working space and think about how can we, you know, organize some kind of like a community building thing. If it's not us, then who is going to do it? We want to call ourselves the ecosystem builders. So what we need to do is to organize something from the roots up, yeah?
So that was supposed to be my answer now. She said people, I wanted to say people. She said organizing, I wanted to say organizing. But I'm gonna repeat what you just said, that we have to build like a space, not co-working space for them to have a chance to meet, to talk, to exchange experiences, to just hang out, to you know, talk about their plans, to meet some mentors, to meet anybody that could be useful on their path. So now they have breakfasts. You have
Open for
you have-
everybody, free of charge.
and this is
yeah.
I really like the breakfast because they always have the mentors. They're like, I've been attending this events for like 1 year, and they always have the same faces, always coming, always being ready for the new founders to come, ask questions, being patient, and it's really cool. You have your events here, you have your events abroad, and we also have our meetups after 3 years, finally, and it's pretty successful. So this is what we actually need right now, I think, in the city, in Wrocław, that we have to give them the opportunity to meet as much as possible, or to, like we say, connect the dots, yeah? Because Alena just mentioned that do you know this person, do you know that person? If I don't know, I know somebody that
who
know
does,
the
yeah.
person, or I will find out. I will find it for you.
Yeah, that's true, and we have to do more, and we have to do better. As you said, you're doing amazing job at Startup Wrocław, but we have to do more. And you said that the best ideas are the one that comes from the roots. And I totally agree, because I spend lots of time in my work to calling people, to ask them to find 1 hour, 2 hour for free consultation, for workshop, etc., etc. But from time to time, there are like accidents, like people coming to me with some idea, let's do it together. And so, for example, with Startup Wrocław, we just started a mentorship program, and the recruitment is open. It's called Startup Launchpad. And actually, it was idea of one of the Wrocław founders, Kuba, and maybe he's somewhere here.
He's not.
No, I would like to thank him anyway. And he just gathered like 5 other founders, and they said, yeah, we will spend 3 months for mentoring young startups. And what an amazing idea. I think this mindset is so important for helping young startups. And it just reminds me that I've seen this TED Talks couple of months ago about, actually it was about startups and building a society, and etc. And there was an example from Estonia that the lady from, I think from some university, sorry, I don't remember her name, she was comparing, she compared food delivery in Tallinn and in Poland. Of course, we do it still in a, you know, people riding on bicycles, delivering a pizza, and there are some robots. And actually, the winters are pretty hard in Estonia. Sometimes those robots stuck in the snow, and they ask for help. And people are actually helping them. And this is the mindset that, I mean, of course, you are like, you want this technology, but for me, this robot is a metaphor of startup, that we should shuffle the snow in front of the startups to make
So to have our pizza delivered.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's not about pizza, but many, like we as an incubator, city, I don't know, government should just help for the startups to make their next step. And this is how I see our role.
That's really cool. Founders needs pizza. I mean,
No, but the truth is that, you know, those startups that we are supporting today, they will either be our clients in the future, or they will deliver services for us. So that's the ecosystem, yeah?
yeah, exactly. And for example, recently, just to know, there's a huge space opened up in Vilnius. It's called Cyber City. So if you're in Vilnius, make sure to visit that.
We will visit.
I'll invite
especially
you guys.
for that.
Yes, yeah.
We are
We will
joining.
visit.
Anyway, so basically, there's more than 1,000 you know, workplaces. It's huge facilities. The biggest, I think, one of the biggest in Baltics right now. And what the initiative was actually from unicorns, you know, people who build it in unicorns, you know, they have some capital to allocate, and we have some great leaders in the community, and that was like more like an idea that we need to have the space, we need to have that kind of, you know, kind of collaborative environment, you know. So if you're Vilnius, make sure to visit that.
I will. Okay, we still have some time. So maybe you have some closing thoughts.
Don't be afraid to talk to strangers, to people that you see in co-workings every day. This is an incentive for me. I want, and I will, and I promise you here on this stage when it's recorded, that I will try and talk to people in our co-working space. Maybe something good will come out of it, who knows?
We did it actually. You know that we did it. We came to you to Concordia with our open calendar, and they were booking the slots with us, and we were meeting them. This is a very cool idea. You can use it. It's actually what Maciek from my team did. That we just made open calendar. We sent to all the companies in Concordia, and they were just coming for 30-minute slots. So you can use this. Still the idea.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I will.
Pavel?
Maybe I have an announcement to people who are listening to us. If you want to help young startups and young people, contact our incubator because
Yeah, they have a nice stand
we are
over
suffer.
there.
I mean, we don't suffer, but we always want to cooperate with some experts, with some VCs, with accelerators, because maybe one thing that really bothers me, that I think we suffer of a lack of good accelerators in our region. I think there are some incubators like academic incubators that are doing pretty good job, but then we need the next step for those startups. And so maybe this is an announcement for the corporations. Maybe this is an announcement for the experts. This is what I want to say.
Yeah. Actually, I think a couple of things. So basically, first, the whole ecosystem, the community is multiple layers. You have facilities, you have community, you have entrepreneurs, you have partners, you have investors. So look holistically when building startup ecosystem. And I think ecosystems should collaborate, I think, much more. For example, what was my thought, when I met Monica and Alina, is like, guys, I've never been in Wrocław. Why? And I know that you guys are doing amazing stuff here. So that's why I'm here, for example, for 3 days, speaking with people, speaking, with you guys. And I think the bridges is really important. For example, to collaborate with neighbors, there's like a couple of hours with car, right? And you can meet a bunch of people, right? We're doing amazing stuff. So my closing thought is to keep building bridges, invest in the people, and give back. I think this is my main points.
I totally agree. So maybe
What's your closing thought?
take action. If you feel like, oh, I have no opportunities to meet new people, or maybe I'm in a smaller city, there's no existing ecosystem, just start building it. Just, ask around, I don't know, throw a question on the internet, put it on your Insta stories or anything. Just, take action, and maybe you are the ecosystem builder. Yeah, you can start building from the roots.
So something from me, the world is super open. You have possibility to reach anybody. Don't be afraid to text anybody on LinkedIn, even if you don't know the person. If you want to ask question, if you have idea, just text them. And if they answer, perfect. If not, try again, or find another road to reach the person. And
or another person.
Yeah, or another person, or anybody that could help, like us, like you, there's for sure somebody that is into business in the city. If it doesn't matter if it's smaller city or bigger, but there's always at least one person that is into business or would like to help.
Yeah, or maybe they can connect you to someone that they know. Exactly. I completely agree. Yeah, so we're we have perfect timing. Thank you very much, everybody, for your insights. Oh, somebody is showing me something? Anna.
2 minutes left.
I see our next speaker at the audience. Hi, she's there. Yeah. Okay, so I think we can smoothly jump to the next part of the event. Thank you once again, and I will ask
Thank you, guys.
our technical team to clear the stage. Round of applause for our panelists.